A rotation does this to a figure around a fixed point called the center. What does it do? Easier words. Or turns a figure around a fixed point called the center of origin. Okay, now in 8th grade, which is what we're doing right now, the center of origin will always be the origin, okay? Kind of like when we did reflections, that means we're always going to be flipping or rotating around the origin, okay? But next year, you can do a rotation around any given point on the coordinate. Okay, so that'll be out. For our examples, the center of rotation will be the origin. And we're going to rotate in increments of 90 degrees. What does that mean? 90 degrees. How much of a turn? A whole out of a circle. A fourth, a quarter turn, that's right. Okay? Okay. Now this is super important direction-wise. Figures can be rotated clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay, now, here's the problem. In today's digital age, a lot of kids don't know how to read a clock. So, my clock.
Well, I know how to do it, but then
Right. My clock died, so I have this big one. I gotta fix it. Guys, look. Clockwise means as the clock turns. So you can pay attention to the second hand, and you can see that it's going this way is clockwise. Okay? If it's going the other way, it would be counterclockwise. Because that means against the clock. Okay? So you seriously though need to know that in order to do this, okay? Consider each quadrant a figure that rotates as another 90 degrees of rotation. So we'll go over that in a second. In 1 through 3, use the number of quadrants the figure was rotated to describe the degrees both clockwise and counterclockwise. Okay, so what does that mean? First, you see that this is A and this is A prime. Yes. So that means this is the original and it went here. So what did it do? It went 90 degrees clockwise, or I could have gone, no negatives. I could have gone this way, which would have been 90, 180, 270, counterclockwise. Does everybody see that those are the same? Okay, let's do another one. B to B prime. Okay, so one way is when I go clockwise, like this, how much did it go? 90, 180, 270. Or if I went counterclockwise, it went 90. Okay? Let's go ahead and do the last one if you're at home, pause video. Okay, let's see. So from here to here, what did it do? 180 clockwise. And counterclockwise, what did it do? 180. Now let me ask you a question. Does it really matter on the 180 if we say clockwise or counterclockwise? Why not? Because it's the same thing. Ended up in the same place. It doesn't matter which way. If I'm facing the back wall and I say I'm going to do a 180, where am I going to end up? Facing the front. Does it matter if I turn to my right or if I turn to my left? No. 180 is 180. Does everybody get so far? Yeah. Okay. Now, if you're at home watching this video, patty paper is like tracing paper, which is what we're about to use. You would need to lay it directly on top of the coordinate grid that's on your paper. Go ahead and trace, and also make sure you label the X and the Y axis, and then go ahead and trace the shape that you see and put a dot in that corner. So you don't need to trace all of this, just the X and the Y. Okay? That's all you need. Okay? So on your patty paper, you would physically trace this, and I would label this X and label that Y. Okay? done every step, but I'm going to just read one of those. And then go ahead and trace the shape and put that dot. Okay? So we're going to actually physically rotate it because this is one, remember, if you remember last few weeks ago, I said rotations are the most difficult of all the transformations. That's why we're doing them by themselves. If you look at the board, that's why we're spending 3 days on just rotations. Okay? By the way, Friday, we have a TLA that counts as a minor grade. So I'm just putting that up there. It's there. Okay? Okay. So, I asked you guys to get 2 colors. I asked you to get 2 colors. It doesn't matter what your colors are, but go ahead and write them right here. Okay? So, I'm going to do these in blue for me. I'm going to do these in red. It doesn't matter. Whatever colors. Okay? Okay? Alright. So here we go. The first one that it wants us to do is a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation. And what we're going to actually do is trace this, not trace, follow this point. What's the name of that point right there that's got the dot? 3, 1. Okay? So I'm just writing that down. Alright? So now you're going to take your pattern paper and you're going to rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. That means we're going to pick it up and turn it which way? To the left. So go ahead and turn your patty paper just like I did. Line up your X and your Y. Okay? Got it? And then you need to draw this shape on your actual paper. Okay? You don't need to draw it on the patty paper because it's already on the patty paper. But you'll need to figure out where it goes exactly on your real paper and put that dot exactly where it is. And now let's name the dot. So go ahead and draw it in that color. Red. That dot is here for me. What's the name of that dot? -1, 3. Did everybody get that? Yes? Okay. Now we're going to go 180. So that means we're already at 90. So how much more do I need to rotate it? Another 90, correct? So go ahead and pick up your patty paper. Rotate it again. Line it up. I pick up my shape. I'm not really sure why. But it did bring my point with me, which is good. Maybe it's because I was writing on it. I'm not sure. But go ahead and name that point. After you draw it on your real paper, and name that point. -3, -1. Really weird. I just don't know why it's not. It's not going to pick it up when I move it this time. Okay, so now that was a 180. So now we want to go 270. So where will it be? Yeah, one more space, one more quadrant. To the left. Line up your X and your Y. Oh, this is so much easier on paper. Oh, gosh. Okay, and then let's go ahead and label. So it was at 1, 3, then it was at -3, 1, then it was at -1, -3, and now where is it? 1, -3, correct? Is that correct? Is everybody good so far? What's wrong? See your face. You okay? Everybody okay? Sorry? Sure? Oh, that's wrong. This should, well, this was 3 1. Well, I'm sorry, it is, I reset it so erased everything, it was 3 1. Okay? Okay, so now does everybody see? So y'all, can you see this right away already? I'm gonna pause it. Okay, so now what I want you guys to do, so I did that first set in red. Now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do the second set in blue. Okay, so I'm gonna put my patty paper back where I started with it. Okay, so ready to go. I'm gonna work on that. All right, and now I want you to go ahead and go through on your own 90 degrees clockwise and go this way, clockwise. Okay, so that means now we're going to be turning to the right and recording and using your other color. Okay. So I heard some people saying, well, why did we do that? Because they ended up overlapping, right? Do you agree with that? Yeah. This was red. Okay, so when I rotate this, you line it up. Did you guys get that it was, I wrote this wrong. Oh, see? It should have been 1, -3. And now, where is it? It's still at 1, -3, correct? Okay. And we rotated it again. Line it up. What is it? -3, -1, right? And when we rotated it again, down, what did we get? -1, 3. Okay, so what I want you to see is that 90 degrees counterclockwise is the same as which one? A 270 clockwise. So write that down. Those are the same. Okay? The 180 was the same as the 180. Correct? Okay? And then the 90 clockwise was the same as the 270 counterclockwise. And then, of course, a 360, well, you're just back where you started, right? So it wouldn't matter whether going clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay. Now, I want to know one more thing. Tell me about the switching. A minute ago you said sometimes they switch positions, right? Like the X and the Y. When did it do that? No, not technically. But when I look at my original point, this one right here, which ones did they swap places? This one and this one, right? And how much was this when we did what? 90 or 270. Okay? So that's one of the things, is that if you have a 90 or a 270, they have to switch the letters. Okay? Not on the 180. Right? So this is the first thing. Alright? Now, so on all the other ways, dilations, translations, reflections, oh, I forgot reflections. We memorized a rule, right? Okay. Do you think that we should probably try to memorize a rule for this? Yes. Okay. So because patty paper works, I promise, it works every time. But you may not always have a piece of patty paper, correct? Yeah. You may not always have some. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of other ways to remember this. Are you ready? All right. So first I have a video. But using this card method, I'm going to take my point 3-1 and let's rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. So use your little cards and go 90 degrees clockwise. So the rule ends up being what? Y -X. So let's see what this actually means so we can actually apply it. Okay? So the first thing that means is that I need to flip my Y and my X. Okay? And now, what does this mean as far as positive, negative? What do you think that means?
It's just negative.
But what does it give me a better word instead of negative?
That's opposite.
Opposite, that's right. So that means keep change. This now becomes that. You see? Okay, so let's do the same point. So if I have a 1, -3, and I want to, again, do a 90 degrees clockwise, we know this is the rule. So the first thing I would do with it is what? Swap it. So that would become -3, 1. And then I apply keep change. Keep change. And look, isn't that what we got earlier? You see? Yeah? So this is how you apply the rules using the cards, okay? You find the rule, then you apply that rule to the points that exist, okay? And I promise you this is going to get easier the more we practice, I promise, okay? Now, I put up here for another way, because y'all, if you heard me in the very beginning of the video, I said there's lots of ways to remember rotation. So I'm going to show you another way, okay? This one is actually my preferred method. It doesn't mean it's the best. It's just the way I've always done it. Nothing's wrong with it, okay? First, I sketch myself a little coordinate grid. So on the very bottom of your paper, you've got a tiny bit of space right there. So just draw a sketch. Or somewhere on the side, somewhere, okay? You know how the coordinate grid behaves in regards of positive, negative, correct? Everything in quadrant 1 is what? Positive, positive. Everything in quadrant 2 is negative, positive. Quadrant 3, negative, negative, and quadrant 4, positive, negative. Okay? I want you to think of this as kind of like your roadmap, like your rules, okay? And where is home base? Here, right? This is the most important quadrant. That's the one we learned first years ago. Okay? So now, you're going to use this to come up with your rule, all right? If I want to do a 90 degrees clockwise, if I start at home base, where will it end up? It's going to end up here, correct? So now, all I have to just remember is that with a 90 and 270s, I always have to flip my letters. That is something you have to remember. And then I'm just going to apply this rule, keep change. And there's the algebraic rule. So again, I came up with the algebraic rule, same as we did with the little cards. Whatever way works for you, whatever way makes your heart happy is what I want you to do. Okay? Let's do another one. If I wanted to do 90 degrees counterclockwise, then that means from home base, where am I going? To the left. I know because it's a 90 that I have to flip my letters. And then what happens here? Negative, positive. So that means change key. And there's the rule. That's how this little thing, it's just a sketch. It's just a little cheat. If I wanted to do a 180 either way lands me here. And I don't flip the letters. I have to remember that. I don't flip the letters. It's just X, Y, but it's change. There's the rule. You see? So, honestly, it doesn't matter to us which way you want to learn. You can use patty paper. You can use the little cards. You can use this little sketch. It doesn't matter because they all work. You're going to come up with your own needs different from us to remember this. Got it? Yes? Okay. So what I want y'all to do, turn your paper on the back. And you're going to do just this one at the top. Okay? Alright? So first, what I want you to do, let's go on a couple things here. The figure is turn, because we're talking about rotations, about a fixed point. Okay? We're going to do this piece, well, maybe last, maybe not. It depends. What I'd like for you to do is, there's a triangle here. They have already told you the points. They want you to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. What I would like for you to do is do this whichever method you want. You may do it with patty paper, you can do it with the cards, you can do it with the sketch, I don't care. Okay, so try this with your table group, only number 1. Does everybody understand? Okay, and 90 degrees clockwise, then you can also fill out just that first one, because that applies to this one. Pretty good? Okay, you're on pause video. Okay, so for me, the because my preferred method is my little sketch. 90 degrees clockwise means I'm going to go there, so I know my first thing is to switch my letters, and everything here is positive, negative, so that's keep, change. Now I'm going to apply that to the points. So that means I'm going to go 3, 2, keep, change. 1, 3, keep, change. 2, 1, keep, change. And then I'm going to actually plot them. 3, -2. Right. 1, -3. And 2, -1. And then make sure that it actually was a rotation, right? How many of you got that? How many of you got the same points that I did? Yeah. Okay, so the rule was y -x. Okay, let's look at the next one. I didn't tell you to do that, but let's work on this one now. So 90 counterclockwise. Go ahead and take a few seconds to figure out your method. Okay. If I'm going 90 counterclockwise, that lands me here. So I know the first thing I have to do is flip my letters. Everything over here is negative, positive, so that means change, keep. So there's my algebraic rule. So now, first I'm going to switch my x and my y, -3, -5. What does this negative out here in front mean now? To change it. So that means I'm going to change it now to a positive 3. So I'm going to change it to positive 3. Okay, same thing. So I'm going to first flip them, change, keep. First flip them, change, keep. Oh, this one, they're the same, so it didn't matter. But then change, keep, and then go ahead and put them on the coordinate grid. Okay. First of all, do a check. Did it go 90 degrees in a counterclockwise way? Yeah, because it's in that quadrant. So you can tell you're in the right place. Just double checking yourself. And then look at the letters. MH. You see they still stay that way. They just rotated together. Okay. The last one, 180. Do I flip the letters for 180s? Yes, ma'am.
I flipped it, they were clockwise, but I still got like the same answer, even just commented that.
But it was counterclockwise.
Yeah, but the point, I still had the right point.
You shouldn't. Because if I did it counterclockwise, then that would be first flip the letters, and you said you went clockwise?
Yeah.
But clockwise means positive, negative, because this is the one that will change. So on that first point, it would be -3, -5, but this, it would become -3, +5. It would be up here. And so remember I said at the very end, you gotta know which way it is to go. Okay? Okay, so now let's go over here to this one, 180. Do you need to flip the letters? Nope, so that's easy. What do we do with them? Negative, negative. It just means change, change. Okay? So that means if it's at 2, 3, it's just going to be at what? -2, -3. 3, 1 becomes negative, negative. So I just want everyone to make sure you understand that negative doesn't mean negative, it means change. Okay? And then go ahead and graph those. Where should it end up? It should end up down here. Let's make sure that it does. Okay, so I know we're running short on time, y'all. Your homework is the bottom half of this page. It's left here. That's all you have to do.